Now, in 2017, almost 15,300 vehicles were stolen. Although this was a 23% decline from 2016, it's still a high amount of vehicles stolen and is a cause for concern for the industry as it raises the insurance premium. So we asked Anthony Lee, the chairman of PM, this. Now, what were the most commonly stolen vehicles in Malaysia, and what happens to vehicles that are damaged in natural disasters? What about in cases where your car is actually stolen?
Yep.
How much would be repaid?
Yeah, so this is important actually, because you can decide when you take out your policy whether you have an agreed value or the normal process. So when you say agreed value, the price that you determine when you're insuring the car, you'll get that full amount back. Whereas if it's not, we will then do an estimation, and we use either ISM or some statistics on the actual value of the car at the time, and that's the value that we will pay out to the insured.
Okay. What happens if eventually the car may be found?
Yeah. So if we have paid it already, paid you in full, the car belongs to the insurance company, and then the insurance company usually we will dispose of it, sell it, etc. If we haven't paid out, then of course, again, we'll take the process to make sure there's nothing wrong with the car, assess it, etc., and then either get it repaired, or if it's perfectly fine, pass it back.
PM also provided us with the statistics of vehicles stolen last year and in 2016. The Proton Wira recorded the highest volume in terms of private car theft in 2017, with 654 units stolen. However, the number is a 31% decline from the previous year, where 951 units of the Wira were stolen. According to statistics released by the Federal Police Statistics and Anti-Car Theft Department in 2009, demand for spare parts in the black market is the main reason why thieves target so many local cars. Wira spare parts are also relatively expensive, making it a popular target for thieves. Next on the list of most frequently stolen cars in Malaysia is the Toyota Hilux, which recorded the highest numbers in terms of foreign-made vehicles, showing that demand for the Toyota pickup among thieves is stronger than ever. However, overall, all top 10 car models showed a reduction in numbers of vehicles stolen last year as compared to the year before. Those numbers in terms of car model. What's more pertinent is the chart for the most frequently stolen vehicles. This list counts the number of thefts over the total number of that particular car model on the roads for theft frequency. Here, the highest ratio belongs to the Toyota Velfire, which saw 112 thefts relative to 83,041 units on the road. Besides the luxury MPV, 4x4 vehicles are also in demand. This, of course, includes the Hilux, along with the Mitsubishi Pajero and Ford Courier.
So police are now, working with us as an industry to see how can we work with the manufacturers to tell them, can they put in better security in those cars. They're too easy to steal. 4 seconds.
What's the main reason that these cars are most often stolen? Is it the lack of security in the car or the parts? What?
So yeah, they are stolen for parts typically. So they will cannibalize the car and then resell the parts. Some, like Hilux, is very popular to be taken up north. So they are, people actually pay them, 14,000 ringgit to steal the car. So it's an industry, unfortunately. But we are working on this. We have a fraud intelligence system started to roll out, and we're working with the police, like I say. So we actually see the number coming down every year, but we don't want any cars stolen.
Okay. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about natural disasters.
Yeah.
What happens if, let's say, there's a flood and it actually affects you? How can someone claim for insurance in these cases?
So it's very important that you take special perils cover. That a lot of people don't take. That's an extra add-on. I think now, after you've seen all these floods in Penang, etc., everywhere, I think less than 5% of people in Malaysia take on special peril cover. Now, with the liberalization, more and more insurance companies are offering that together as a package. So I would say, if you are in a flood-prone area or you have a very valuable car, you should definitely take that insurance out.
I see. Okay. Speaking about additional coverage for natural disasters, Can you tell us about some of the lessons that you've actually learned from some of the natural disasters that have happened in Malaysia recently?
Sure. I think the Penang one was a classic point, because when we looked at it, how many people actually had special perils cover to cover their cars, it was really low. So I think there was a few hundred or plus cars completely gone, and then it was less than a handful that actually had the insurance. And flood nowadays, it can come very quickly, because when we get storms, it is more intense rain in a very short space of time. So the water's got nowhere to go, and then with all the development, it typically pools much faster, can't drain away. So where people might have parked their cars in the street before and it was perfectly fine, suddenly now it's gone, right? And in a flood, a lot of times the car cannot be recovered. So if you've taken a loan to buy the car, you're still having to pay it, and you don't have a car. I mean, that's a big impact, right? So people need to understand, you are just throwing away a lot of money. So, pay a bit more. Yes, it's of course a bit more expensive to get that. But if you ask me, our cars are typically around 100,000 ringgit, on around that. That's a bit of money. How happy are people to give that away? It's very painful.
So you should be able to pay the additional coverage, especially if you live in prone areas.
Yeah, if you're prone areas, like I said, there's a no-brainer, right? Why wouldn't you do it? I think just the thing is, people always thought before, it never flooded here.
It's not going to happen to me.
Yeah, and look, it happened twice last year, right?
Okay. What happens if, in some cases, some consumers would want to dispute the claim amount? Can they actually do that, and who can they talk to?
They can. So ideally, first case is go back to the insurance company, write your complaints. We all have complaints departments, and we look at that. If you're really not satisfied, there is the OFS, Ombudsman for Financial Services, set up by Bank Negara. So they deal with all disputes up to 200,000 ringgit. That's a very good system. You write in, they have a process, and they will work with us to try and get it settled. Otherwise, if it's above 200,000 ringgit, you obviously need to go through the normal courts.
So if there was one tip that you would give to our viewers, what would it be?
Make sure you read your policy. Make sure when you choose what you're buying, don't necessarily go for the cheapest, because there are many factors involved in why the price is what it is. And service is also important, right? You want to make sure you have a company, insurance company, that will service you quickly so that you can get your car back as soon as possible.
Awesome. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.